wine in the bar. He says, buy me a drink. Says, I'll buy you if you get married to me. He's picking dates in the field. Throw me two. I'll throw you if you marry me. All these cases. He says whenever he goes and he says the terminology, it means nothing. Then he goes and says, just give me the dates. You got it? Let's read again. Because I see nobody knows where we are even. Mr. Abadi knows, but we're going to go back because he's the only one. And he even wasn't here yesterday. See, let's go to the bottom of the page.
Okay.
I see.
Let's begin, not two lots. How Gavra, last line. Abraham?
Yeah.
How Gavra, this certain man. He was selling, as Rashi says, cheap jewels, glass, tin buttons. Rashi said that they're tin buttons. Glass beads. And that's when we got to what? To Hermanus Hess. That is to Ludi. Okay. I eat the Amra, the top of the page now. I eat the Amra le Havli Chad. Shucha, give me one of your glass beads. If I give you one of the glass beads, you will be Mekudesh. Amaleh. She told him,
Just give it to me.
just give it to me, Havamiyah. Just give it to
It doesn't
me.
mean nothing that she's Mekiddush.
He says just give it to me.
Call Havamiyah. Whoever says have, like the dog, lav klum. He does not mean to, even to do what? To consider the statement of the other person. Okay. How Kashati Chama?
Off the beach, you know.
She don't want to get married. Right? Kol hava mahava lav klum hu. How Gavra? Hava Kashati Chamra. They're in the bar. Maybe it's a different in the bar. בחנותה עטיה היא איתתה אמרה לה have לי חד כסה. She sits next to the guy at the bar, says buy me a drink. אמר לה, he tells her, יבנה לך, if I give you a drink, מקודשת.
Just pour it on.
He said, just give me a drink. אמר לה, אשכש, just give me a drink, I'm thirsty. It means nothing. How Gavra, she wants a drink. We talked about the dog. We talked about many cases. So we said yes. She was the one who started the conversation. Maybe that makes sense. How Gavra, Kashadi Tamre, Bidikra. A man was harvesting dates. This beautiful woman came. Shadili Tarte. Throw me down too. If I throw down too, will you be Mekudeshet? She told him, Shadi Mishtes, throw me dates. Amarav Zavi. Kol Shadi Mishter Lav Klum.
If she had say okay, it would have been okay.
Mr. Gindi, I Bailahu. Have Ashke V'Shadeh Mahu. What if she says, like Mr. Gindi says, okay, Ravina Mekudeshet. Ravina says we're Mekudeshet. Rav Samar Barata Amar. Tanad Malcha Ena Mekudeshet. He says, God of the world, King of the world. She's not Mekudeshet.
Crown of the king.
Crown of the king.
Yeah.
And the law is Ena Mekudeshet.
Where was the one that she would be betrothed? I didn't understand that case.
He says if he just said, okay,
No, but the drink.
listen!
But the drink.
All three cases the same. The drink, the date, the bead. She said okay. Give it to me. It's okay. I'm going to use the word okay.
Not agreeing to his proposal.
I'm going to say okay. I'm going to say okay.
No. Okay, because she said I would become betrothed.
She didn't.
I didn't say I will, but
She says, give me the stuff already. That has to be in the Hakibalash.
So then why now she's betrothed? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You read it in English.
Okay? So now, in all the above cases, the woman had responded with a repetitive type of phrase. The Gemara not question, like, give me the wine, like that, right? Now, the Gemara
Double.
question.
Just give it to me. Just give it to me.
Right. Now,
She says she takes away the just. She doesn't say just. She says give it to me. What does that mean?
nothing. Ena Mekudeshet.
That's the machloket. Mr. Gindi, don't tell me what you think. What does the Gemara say?
see, I know what I'm talking about. Give it to me.
Again, did you hear what I said?
I'm not in the
Just give it to me. One. Give it to me. The Gemara says there's a different connotation in each one. Just giving it just, when she says just, she said ignoring.
I don't like, I have no wanting in be throwing you. Just
Give it to
When
me.
you go, give it to me.
Correct.
Make the bear.
Could be.
Now I understand.
That's the
Not just.
suffix.
The just is a word that implies I don't want nothing
Right.
with you. I want to get drunk by
So Mr. Barry says that's not what the Gemara says. It's true. The Gemara says a double lash. Give it to give it means she's ignoring him.
Double Lashon.
Ignore
It's a
it.
single Lashon.
Right.
Then she
Right.
Now I got it wrong.
Not saying poor. She said the word
poor, poor.
then
Means that he's starving.
You heard Rabbi? Rabbi, if she said okay, give it to me, then
Let's
Give just once.
Can we continue?
Yes, he said it's a logic not to marry somebody who you don't know. That's what it is.
Chas Shalom.
She doesn't know her.
He knows her. They grew up together at the kindergarten together.
How do you know?
How do you know?
over here says they grew up together. I had crush on her for many years.
They were playing that they hide and seek together. You're there. You know, there's a famous painting in the Louvre, which we saw when we toured. For some reason, the tour guide thought every Jewish guy plays chess. So he saw a bunch of Jewish people in the tour. I was one of them. He said, I know Jews like to play chess. I'm going to show you a what? Painting. Not a Renaissance painting. Painted of 1800s. Beautiful painting. You have a man playing chess. Against who? Against the devil. Playing chess against the devil. I think the I'm not sure, but I think he said oh wow, he's fast.
I don't know, Rabbi.
I think it was called, I don't know if it's true, I don't remember. But for some reason my memory says it was called checkmate.
Yes, Rabbi.
It was called checkmate?
Yes.
Checkmate
is the end of the
who
show.
was the one who was checkmate? The devil had checkmate. He was one guy looked at the board. Said, it's not checkmate. The king still has a move. So I came and said at that statement, the king always has the last move. You know what the king is? Hashem. Paro thought, checkmate. I got the Jews. Moshe told him, checkmate. The king still has a move. That is the what? Who did it? I forgot.
Rabbi, which king wakes up in the middle of the night to go tell the Jews leave this second? Okay? Which king?
Moritz,
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. They have. It's interesting. You look at. Okay, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go. But, what?
Testing, you know, chess, is that what the whole...
No, I don't know. I don't know exactly why he left that check. He left a move for the king, but he left a move for the king for us.
The painting depicts
No, you don't. Who looks at the board when you look at the painting? You look. The Satan has his hand on the skull, and then you have an angel looking. You look at the you don't look at the board. Okay, back to our Nikuda. Right. Back to our Nikuda. I don't know how we got there.
I'm sorry. You like eating grass?
Thank God that was
What? You like eating grass? I'm sorry, Rabbi.
Where?
Wait. How can a plane come? And where were they? So they probably landed in an emergency.
Wheels were on the side. You have a video. You didn't see the video?
That's crazy.
Look at the plane. Who's you like Indy?
Desert, but that's the airport.
He lived on Easter.
I don't know, Ralph. I don't know you guys. What's going to help?
32.
30,000?
No, I'm not kidding.
Where?
The two children that I know.
Where's the house?
Oh, Easter.
32? Okay.
My cousin was one of the buyers.
Can we go on? I don't know how we got the lots, 32.
Looking at his phone. That's thank you, Hashem.
Oh my God. Can we go back?
The helicopter yesterday.
Oh, brother.
The helicopter fell out of the sky.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Hashem's in control. That's the
Nikuda. Hashem's in control. Kashadi tamre midikliyata. Right? How we tata. Omar le shadi lutate. Omar la ishadin alach mekudeshet li. Omar le shadi mishta. Omar zavid kol shadi mishta. Lav klumu. Ibailu. That's who we are. Ibailu. Who they asked him a question. Have, he forgot to say just said have ashke b'shadi mahu Amar Avina Mekudeshet Reb Sama Barakta Amar. Rakta sounds like the author, like the painter. Rakta Amar Tagad Malka Eno Mekudeshet. He says what? The Malka Eno Mekudeshet. V'ilcheta Eno Mekudeshet. Now it goes back to all the cases of the Gemara. V'hilchata shira'eh lo tzricha shuma. You got it? First word on line shuma. See it, Abraham? Shuma.
Yeah.
So the Gemara goes on and says, the law is what? Eina Mekudeshet.
Right.
Bia, he says, she says just, or she doesn't say just. No difference. Either way, not Mekudeshet. Not Mekudeshet.
Okay.
Right.
Maskim.
She's not masking. Right. Have. Birchata. And the second thing, Shira'eh lo tzricha shuma. And when it comes to silk clothes, you don't need shuma, you don't need evaluation.
It's so expensive.
Right. Birchata Rabbi Lazar. And the halacha is like Rabbi Lazar when he does what? When he's counting the money that you could go and do what? Back out. Birchata Rava Amar Reb Nachman. And the halacha is what? Like Rava Bar Reb Nachman. In what case? In the case that was in the case of. Oh, and he lives in Mashkon. Right. he leaves Ramesh Kohon.
All the action. We call collateral action.
Now we saw Tosfot at the beginning of the Sugya. Omer Rabbeinu Tam. That Rabbeinu Tam goes on and says that. What do you mean? Omer Rabbeinu Tam. The Omer Rabbeinu Tam. The Ata. The whole page, all the three last, all the last halachos. The Omer Rabbeinu Tam. The Ata Lashmi'inan. The Dafka Shira'eh. Only in the case of shira'eh of silk clothes don't you need a estimation, a evaluation. The lo tzrich shuma, the fish shuman yodua, because everybody knows. Pair of jeans, how much is a pair of jeans? How much is a silk scarf? We have a general idea. You don't make a mistake. You go on. The price is right. Okay, you're off, $1 off, $1 above, $1 below. Right.
Always be the lowest. Always be the lowest.
The fish shumanan yadua kitzat. You have in the 1970s, Levi jeans had to be sold at the price that Mr. Levi Strauss put it on the jeans. $8.99. You had a lawsuit against what? Levi Strauss. Went to the Supreme Court. Levi Strauss lost. They really won. It was the #1 advertisement of the year. At least that's what they told us in what? In business school. Okay, lawyers. We had a guy, Resnick. My daughter worked for Resnick. Resnick gave his wife a business. She was sitting playing mahjong, what is it called? All day long. Gave her a business. You know what business he gave her? POM. P-O-M. Pomegranate juice. She took it to new heights. She hired Touro College Biology Department to show that what? That pomegranate juice is healthy, stops heart attacks. And they wrote a paper. And it was all shiot, the paper was not true. But no, it was true, the paper. But she took out the words out of context. Is pomegranate juice good for the heart? She took away the is. And she put it on all the ads. Okay, I know, but so blank. She took is. Pomegranate juice is good, right? In the question. She was sued. Her husband told her, "You are brilliant." Because you paid less money than you made. Okay, so here all of a sudden, what do we have here? When it comes to prices, comes to what says it's not all equivalent. When it comes to something which you can make a small mistake, you don't need to have what? You don't have to have an evaluation. You don't have to have no
mistakes. Don't need evaluation.
Nobody cares. The davka shirayu. The shugeni mitos all the fish shumatan yadu kitzat. ואין רגילים לטעות בו כל כך. And you can't make such a big mistake. אבל שאר דברים כגון אבנים טובות ומרגליות שאינם טובים. That people don't know their price, they can't see them, you have to have a jeweler? That needs evaluation. אלא מעט ורגילים לטעות בהרבה. So when you can make a small mistake, you don't need evaluation. When you make a big mistake, you need evaluation. You
need a certificate. Yeah.
Right? צריכים שומה. משום דלא סמכה דעתה. ולפיכך. You see ולפיכך? תוספות, of course. ולפיכך נהגו העולם לקדש בטבעת שאין בה עבד. Comes תוספות and says, when I go and I get married, what do? I use a ring. Plain. Now, why do we get married with wedding rings? Where did that start from? Comes to Kunei Zohar, but a square ring, the Zohar says.
Square and ring.
Square outside, round inside. What's the ring? Mr. Gindi, you should have answered much quicker than Mr. You're working with Shtuyot. What's the reason? Where do we see that you get married with a ring? That's
See it,
the
speak clean.
Mr. Gindi's on the ball. I'm not going to shake your hand. Mr. Gindi, you hear what he said? Mr. Gindi, tell him.
Well, you see the married ring, we put in the wedding ring, go married to God.
How many rings do we have?
We got 3.
3 rings. And each one, what do we say? I'm engaged to you with what? What does it say? I am eternally engaged to you. I'm engaged with you with Tzedek Mishpat v'Chesed Rachamim. So if you go out with a girl, if your son comes with a girl which has a lot of rings on her fingers, it's not such a bad thing.
No ears on the ears.
On her ears also not such a bad thing.
Not the tongue no.
Tongue no.
Not the nose.
No, maybe Rachel had on her. Okay, that's one. You got that? What's another one? Another reason why we use a ring. Mauricio, that's for you. Why do we use a ring?
Why do we use what?
What Rachel? Rachel, what ring? Nose ring. Nose ring. Go give your wife a nose ring. What ring? Nazim is nose ring. What's the reason you have a ring?
The world goes round and round.
No, what's the model?
So what does that have to do with weddings?
Competes. Oh, what does that do with weddings? Before one.
That's why on Avelut we have an egg.
Right, that's how
But it could be, you're right. That is what Shlomo HaMelech said. What? Shlomo HaMelech said he went to a jeweler according to 3 words on his ring.
What does that mean?
And this will also pass. He went to the jeweler and said, when I have good times, and I want to look at my ring and get musar. When I have bad times, I want to look at what did the jeweler do? Gam zeh yavor. This will also pass.
There's a song like that. Moody Blues, maybe.
Moody Blues. Moody Blues, I know. Nights in white satin. Okay, I'm not going to. You bring up some good things. Okay, you got it?
Great song.
It's a great song.
Oh, I love that song. Nights in white.
Okay.
Do you have to be doing something while you listen to that, or no? Do you have to be doing something while you listen to that song?
Oh, this is also white satin. What's white satin?
Rabbi, we've been very good friends for
Next, can we go back? What is it? Are you with us? Next.
Right.
So the Nikuda is what? Now, can we go to...
I don't know if this is the answer.
Okay. Let's go back.
That's also a house of, you know what?
Who told you?
It's a house of
Who told you?
prostitution.
Who told you?
Prostitution.
Who told you?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Your
No,
imagination.
he says in the song, you're all drunk.
Oh, no, drunk. It could be a bar. It could be a bar.
Be a bar.
Your mind is working. But I'm not going to go there. Let's go back. Can we go back? So comes Tosfot and says that we marry with rings.
Yes.
Why do we get married rings? Cham Yaakov like to marry with a coin. Why a ring? So we
The coin
name
is round out too.
round.
Okay, so ring round, coin round, like Eliezer.
So comes a Yavor. It's not such a good thing to think comes a Yavor.
It means that the Kiddushin is not so good.
You know that? Okay. That was the first. Oh, eternal. Comes after that eternal. Good. Now there's another Nikuda. So we have Sticha. We have another one which is what? Like the Goyim, which is beautiful. Even the Goyim say it, we also say it. What is that? That when she goes to the bar, she has a ring, she can't take off her finger. They all know she's married. It's stuck.
She should not be going to the bar.
She shouldn't go to the bar. So it's
Rabbi, the song's about his girlfriend that gave him satin bed sheets. So.
Satin what?
Bed sheets.
I like your other.
Sheets for your bed. Oh, bed sheets.
Yes.
I thought you said bed sheets. You know, big.
we had a big sign We had a big sign next to Yeshiva in Los Angeles. There was a big store. Israeli owned it. What was it called? London Britches. But the R was very difficult to say. Okay.
Very skinny arm.
Yeah. Let's go back. Let's go back to Nikuda. That's Los Angeles.
Yeah, I've never heard him say that.
Back to Nikuda. So what another reason is because remind you. She reminds you she's married all the time. She has a constant reminder.
Very good.
That's the reason maybe for the man also to have it. Some say that's the reason the man has a talit after he gets married. Because they used to wear talit all the time. He remembers, yeah, because only after they get married they wear it. Why? Because now they remember they're married. Another reason is when the ladies are looking from the lady section, they know who's single, who's not single. All the single girls. Okay, another reason why they wear talit.
Maybe that's the ring. Tie a string around your finger so you remember. That's the
Right?
ring.
That's right. And a third reason I wanted to say was, a ring is like a chain.
It's like
A chain has rings, links. We're telling her, our beautiful wife, this is another link to who? To Sarah Imenu. So when we get married, what are we saying?
I'm linked to something.
You're linked to Sarah Imenu. Okay, so those are the reasons that Rishonim talk about why we use the rings. Now there's another thing we should go, but we're not going to speak about it. Why a square ring? But we're not going to. Tan Rabbanan. You give it up.
Square outside, but round inside.
We're not going to. We said we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. Tan Rabbanan. The rabbis now. We spent 9 pages on Kesef.
Right.
We talked about Kesef being a date.
Yes.
We talked Kesef being a glass bead, being a drink.
Yeah.
All these are under
What's
what?
the document?
Under what? Rubik's of Kesef.
Yes, now
I need two
documents. We're going into documents.
Now we go Kesef Shtar and the where's Kesef Shtar? Where did it go? Let's see.
That's it. How is Kiddushin brought about the document?
Tan Rabbanan. The rabbis have taught us. The shtar. When it comes to a shtar, kesef shtar. What kind of shtar? Ketzad. What? How is it? Katav lo. Al haniyar. He writes to him. What writes to him? Writes to her. What do you mean writes to him? Al haniyar or al acheres.
Maybe it's a scribe. Not her.
What does it say write to him?
I don't know what it says. Read it. Read it in English. I want to hear the English.
Okay. How is Kiddushin brought about through a document if the husband to be wrote one of the paper on a fragment of earthenware, even if this object does not have a peru?
Okay, you're gone. Tan Rabbanan, let's read it again. Ishtar, Ketzad, Katav lo al haniyar. He wrote on a paper, or al acheres, on the shred of pottery. Af al pi she'en bo shava pruta, even though there was no shava pruta. Bitcha, your daughter, Mekudeshetly, is married to me. So who was he writing it to? To the father. But don't you understand what he said? We're going to take time. You give it out, we're not going to let you get lost.
Okay, so
What does it say?
Somebody writes on paper or on a piece of pottery, broken pottery.
Even though it's not worth the pruta.
again, without money, he wrote something. We're not
Again.
talking that he gave anything.
Start again.
It's all
Start.
the stuff.
The umbrella of star, that's Kesef.
No more
Just
kesef.
on the road and you found him. That's what he had.
No.
Kesef we do need.
Right. Is that missing anything?
Start again.
Document itself.
Document.
Start again.
Start again.
Let's go back, doctor. The Mishnah goes on and says, Aisha niknit kesef shtar bia. Either through kesef, we went through kesef. 11 pages, 9 pages, 8 pages. Now we come to what? To shtar. Shtar comes, the Gemara and says, there's no worth here. There's no kinyan kesef. There's no monetary value. The kinyan is made through what?
Contract.
The
paper.
contract, paper.
The paper's not
Document.
worth anything.
Paper's not worth anything. Still good. Doctor says she's a cheapskate. At least he gave her a piece of paper. The next one he gives her nothing.
Next one you
But now all of a sudden comes the Gemara and says, what does it have to be written on the paper? He says very simple.
Here it is.
When it comes to a get, you have to write 12 lines. How do you know 12 lines?
The Gimel Tet.
Gimel Tet. Right?
Reminded me last night.
Now here you don't have to write 12 lines. You don't even have to write one line. What do you write? Bitcha mekudeshet li, bitcha meureset li, bitcha li is my wife. Mekudeshet. Harizu mekudeshet. This is mekudeshet. Do you need edim? Of course you need edim. It has to be a contract. But what's written on the contract? Harizu mekudeshet li. Harizu mekudeshet. Matkif la.
Heavy question.
Reb Zera. Bar Mamal, Halo Dami, Hashtara Lishtar Zvini. Comes a very hard question. Reb Zera goes on and says, let's evaluate and be very exact. You're going to go buy a field. Right? You're going to go buy a field. Who's writing the shtar?
The seller.
The seller or the buyer?
Yeah, the seller. The seller, not you. You buying a field. You got you, Rabbi. From you, you're gonna buy. You're gonna make me a bill of
contract to sell. There's the terms.
Who's making the shtar in this case?
The buyer.
one case.
The buyer.
Every case the sofer makes it. The buyer. Reb Zera says doesn't make sense. You're not making the shtar proper. Who should be writing the shtar?
The seller.
The seller.
And who's the seller?
Who's the seller?
The father.
Or the girl.
Right. How come he's coming? Over here, the buyer is writing the contract. It should be the seller.
That's Reb Zera's question. Beautiful question.
Beautiful question. Yes.
Let's see what it says.
Is he gonna know that the
Compare
buyer wants to
Metatali to
buy?
a Ben Adam.
Here comes the doctor says, I don't know, the husband wants. Because they.
The video of the plane.
So comes, the Gemara tells us that what? That all of a sudden the shtar is written by the wrong person. When we have a kinyan shtar, how does the kinyan shtar work? The seller writes the shtar, and by handing over the shtar to the buyer, that is the act of acquirement.
Exactly.
You acquire the shtar. As you acquire the shtar, you acquire the what?
Property.
The property.
Over here, how come
Here.
the guy is acquiring the deed if he didn't write nothing?
The opposite. Read that. Start from the two dots. Doctor, you read. Let's read. Tana Rabbanan.
Be the other way around.
Let's read.
כאן רבנן בשטר קצר, כתב לו על הנייר או על החרס, אף על פי שאין בו שווה פרוטה. בתך מקודשת לי, בתך מורסת לי, בתך לי,
Sing two. He doesn't have to do all three of them. Only one.
Only one of those three.
Different לשונot.
Right.
That was a katana, right?
לא דמי היי שטרה לשטר זבינה.
This is not at all comparable to a sales star. Hatam
הטעם מוכר כותב לו שדה,
Sadi.
עודי מכורה לך.
My field is
The seller is right.
right.
You can't do that
Aha.
בעל כותב,
Here, who's writing?
בעל כותב.
The buyer. Bitcha mekudeshet li. That's the question. So comes the doctor.
Obvious chiluk יש לנו.
What's the chiluk?
Metatali against the Ben Adam. You can't make that comparison.
Mr. Gindi. When it came to Kesef Kinyan, Kesef, what did we do? We made it exactly like Abraham Avinu did it. Maybe the lady should give money to the man. You can't do that. It says
She can't initiate it. That's the whole point.
from in Kesef. In Kesef, all we know in Kesef. How do we know who initiates it?
Abraham Avinu.
Mr. Gindi, Abraham Avinu. What's the pasuk by Kiddushin? Ki yikach ish isha. Where's ki yikach? Maybe only by Kesef.
Only by the not document.
Maybe. Was the document works the same way?
I think so.
But that's the question of the Gemara. אתה מוכר, כותב לו סדי, מוכרה לו החבל, כותב ביתך מקודש לי. אמר רבא, go on doctor. והכה מענייני דקרא. You're right. When it comes to buying a field, or buying a car, or buying clothes, initiate right now, where do we know that from? Mr. Gindi, why do you throw kikaki?
No, it's
Hatam ketiv.
Here it comes.
ומוכר מאחוז דעתו, ומוכר על הרחמנה. Where is the pasuk? It refers to the who? The seller. So the seller writes, Hacha ketiv, what does it say here? Ki yikach b'bal tara rachmana. So the narrative is different when it comes to the kinyanim. When it comes to the kinyanim of field, who is the seller is the most important part. When it comes to marriage, the buyer.
That's the whole idea. So how's he gonna? He can't say.
Where do I know that?
You still need a meeting of the moment.
Where do I know that? Maybe the woman go.
He said that. It
But
doesn't say it.
maybe only kesef.
Why would it be different?
Because it's a different kinyan. When I buy something, what?
She can't initiate.
When I buy,
She can initiate when
right?
it comes to shtar.
Sure. When I buy something, who's the one who gives the money? The buyer.
The buyer gives the money. The one receiving the product gives the money.
We have the pasuk all here, all right here. You don't have to run around. Here the pasuk says ki yikach ish isha. That pasuk maybe is totally for money.
You can only use it in one place.
We don't know. We don't care who initiates. We want to know who writes the contract. Who writes the contract? Who writes the contract?
When it comes to merchandise, the seller writes the contract. When it comes to kinyan of a lady, the buyer writes the contract.
That's our problem.
The father of the girl could also. It's a good question. I think about. The father of the girl always initiates. What do you think? That's his job.
Right?
But he's
He went to the shadchan.
He's the initiator.
Comes, and we just said who has to do it?
The husband.
The husband has to do it.
Otherwise,
And then when it comes to a field,
the person that's acquiring.
the seller.
The seller.
it's always the seller. When it comes to shtar, it's always the seller. Who does what? This is the exception.
The contract, not the buyer.
I don't like the word initiate. I'm changing the word. It's always the seller who writes the contract. Who has the honest to write the contract? The seller. When it comes to marriage, who has the honest to write the contract?
The buyer, the acquirer.
So comes the man and says, you know why? Because in the general term of marriage, who is the initiator? The Gemara says, who is the one who is the most important part? The ish is the taker. When it comes to selling, it's who is the one who is the part? The buyer in the pasuk. So in the case of field and merchandise, the buyer is the one who becomes the subject. He's the one who writes. When it comes to marriage,
Why doesn't seller writes it?
it's not the seller.
Marriage otherwise.
Right.
He's the subject.
Mr. Gill, you're going to have a lot of that tomorrow night. We'll give you one interesting thing for that. which is not Mr. Guinea's not gonna like, but I'm gonna tell you. Mr. Guinea wants Musa. I'm not gonna give Musa.
That's the Musa.
Let me ask you a question.
You always get what you want.
We have karpas. Do you lean by karpas or not?
No.
You can look at 3 Haggadot, and each one will tell you different.
You can't go wrong. What do we do, Master? What do we do?
If I'm not mistaken, Magen Avraham stays silent on this show.
I was looking through last night. Very good.
Huh? The Abadura, I don't know. I know the early scheme. The Abu Dharam says what? Lean. Comes the kolba. Chas v'shalom, you can't lean. What is karpas all signifying?
It's a heavy work.
Heavy work. Can't lean on heavy work. Just for me.
Samech
Are these chalab for Pesach? Have a very good day. Chag Sameach.